Welcome back into Rounding Third Baseball, episode 280, interview with 16-year veteran Steve Trachsel. I'm Nick, and we have Harrison tonight. How are we doing tonight, Harrison?
Fantastic. So excited for this episode.
Yeah, this is going to be incredible. We got Steve backstage ready to come on, so we will jump into it. But first, make sure you follow and like us on Facebook. You can subscribe on YouTube. You can follow on Instagram, Rumble, and TikTok. You can also listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. We also have our affiliate sponsors, Logitech, MLB Shop, and Lids. You can find these links on the tops of all of our socials. So if you do any shopping for these products, please do it through our links as we get a nice little kickback with no additional cost to you. Just a great way to support the show. We also have Rounding Third merch on Etsy. We have sweatshirts, t-shirts, tumblers. Check us out over there, Rounding Third Baseball. And on Patreon, some of you are following us over there already, but it is a small baseball community where that is all we talk about, baseball 24/7, and we release exclusive content over there, so check us out on Patreon. All right, here we go. The guest is here. We are ready, and we are going to welcome in Steve Trachsel to the show. How are we doing tonight, Steve?
We are doing very good. What's up, Nick, Harrison? Good to meet you guys.
Yeah, great to meet you.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. This is absolutely, like we were saying before, like the little baseball kid in me geeked out. You answered our trivia question. It was your trivia question. And Steve just like, it's me. And I was like, wow, that's unreal.
One of the few I could probably actually answer.
That's awesome.
I feel like you had the inside track on that answer.
That's for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, Carl's a huge Cubs fan, so he's awesome to see you. So all right, let's kind of
start see you at the Cubs convention.
Yeah, right. All right, so let's kind of start at the beginning. And at the beginning, I mean your college days. You helped Long Beach State get to the College World Series, if I read correctly.
Yeah, 1991. We had a unbelievable team. Believe it or not, Jason Giambi was my third baseman on that team.
Wow.
Hitting 440, lining singles over the shortstop's head like it was easy. Played third base, and yeah, who knew? Yeah, we had 9 guys drafted off that team.
Wow.
And yeah, the College World Series is a lot different than it is now, and didn't have the super regionals or any of that stuff to get to and get through, and just I mean, what an amazing week that was. My first time in Omaha, got to go back there, as a AAA ball player and just relive it all over again. Unfortunately, we just didn't win the whole thing.
Yeah, that's incredible. At what point in college did you realize you had a shot at the pros?
My second year. So I was in junior college or community college, depending where you're at, what they call it. And I was a little guy. I graduated high school, 5'10", 155. I was 17. So finally, by my second year of college, I was like 6'1", maybe 180. And all of a sudden I noticed, scouts actually wanting to talk to me after games. We always saw them, I was fortunate enough to play with some guys, in high school that made it to the big leagues who were bigger and stronger. So I saw the scouts. I knew what to look for. And you start filling out these little 3x5 cards with your info on them. And then when they actually start calling you and wanting to go to lunch, it's like, okay, something's happening here at least.
Yeah.
So at least I might get a shot. But I didn't have any interest really at that time. I felt like, okay, I'm little. I'm probably throwing 90. On today's guns, that's like 99. So I probably
right.
And I'm like, I'm not going to sign as a 75th round pick or any of that stuff because none of them would tell me where I was going. So graduated. I went and played in the Alaska League before going to Long Beach State. My pitching coach from Long Beach State was actually a coach on that team, and Cubs scout offered me a contract after this 24-hour tournament that they played in Wichita, Kansas. So you literally start games at like 3 o'clock on a Thursday and you just play. So you might start a game at 2 a.m. You might have a 5 a.m. game. It just went nonstop for 3 days. And so Scout offered me a contract there. I'm like, okay, now I definitely know I'm going to get a chance because I just got offered a contract. Told him, sorry, I'm still not ready. I want to go to Long Beach State. I'm going to play for Dave Snow. They'd just gone to the College World Series before that. I'm like, I want to experience this. Get another year of college, just in case. And Long Beach State, I just exploded. I got another 10 pounds heavier. Really, really learned how to actually pitch at Long Beach. Set up hitters, and also put me. And I was a control guy for the entire time. Even that's what carried me through. And I just really felt like I learned so much in that 1 year at Long Beach that really just gave me a head start above everyone else that in other colleges I felt, but definitely when I got to the minor leagues, I felt like I was ahead of the game.
Yeah. So what do you point to as the change at Long Beach State? Was it just experience? Was it coaching? Was it just physically kind of filling out?
It was a little bit of everything, really. Yeah. I don't feel like I ever threw harder. I mean, I was a 91 guy my entire career, 91 to 93 tops. Just the education, really. I had fastball, curveball, split. I had a changeup that I never used. I probably didn't even use it until like my 8th, 9th year of being in the big leagues at that point. But being able to set up hitters and using locations and thinking 2 or 3, 4 pitches ahead, 2 or 3, 4 batters ahead. I learned that all at Long Beach State. And when I got to the minor leagues, I mean, the first place the Cubs sent me was Geneva, New York. And I was pitching against high school kids. I mean, I was 20. I was pitching against high school kids that were 19. And I'm thinking, how are you 19 and just coming out of high school? And I got 3 years of college when we're the same age. And it was just kind of like, I went to coach. I'm like, what am I doing here? It was a waste of my time because it was just pure domination at that point. And luckily I was only there 14 innings. They sent me straight to high A ball, where I was then facing guys that were drafted with me and ahead of me, and I had played against in college. There was guys that were 25, 26 there, which blew my mind. Married with 3 kids, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm 20. I'm fresh out of school, still trying to get my feet wet. And you've been in A ball for 6 years at this point. I'm like, I don't understand this. But they're like, okay, we're all going to go out beers tonight. It's like, I'm 20. I got my fake ID, though. I'm using my fake ID. I can go have beers with you guys after the games.
That's awesome. So you finally get to the big leagues. And as a kid, we all grew up watching WGN. We would come home from school. The Cubs are on national TV. Everybody in the country is watching the Cubs. And then, Cubs games gets over in mid-afternoon. They turn it to TBS and watch the Braves at night.
Right.
So you guys were on the national stage, and those were really the only 2 teams, even being local in New England. I couldn't watch the Red Sox unless I had a special channel. So how was that being on a national stage every single time you stepped on the mound? Did that cross your mind at all when you're out there, or are you just so zoned in that it doesn't matter?
It really didn't, because that's what we were doing too in the minor leagues. Our games are 7:00 at night. So we're watching the Cubs at 1:00 before we even go to the ballpark. And so we're following guys, and and you get to AA, AAA. We're watching guys, Turk Wendell and other guys that are going up, Sean Bosky, Bill Brennan. They're pitching. It's like, okay, he was just here 2 days ago. Now now we're watching him on TV before we go to the ballpark. So we were doing that same exact thing. So I guess by the time I got there, in 93, September, AAA, we had just won the AAA championship. I think we brought up 11 guys or 10 guys off that team.
Wow.
So it was almost like our whole team was still there with us. It's back when you were allowed to do that, right? Can't do that anymore. And so it didn't really cross my mind too much that I was, all over the country. It was great that my parents were able to watch. But the stadium was full. So I guess that was probably the biggest thing. Wrigley was full every single day, no matter how the team was doing. So being in that crowd with the ravenous fans that the Cubs fans are was probably a bigger influence, more than really thinking, oh my gosh, the whole country's watching. Because I grew up in California. I had WGN. I didn't watch the Cubs.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
watch the Braves. I was
Right.
and I was an Angel Dodgers guy, so if they were on TV on Channel 9 then I got to watch them. But
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't grow up a Cubs or Braves fan, so maybe it didn't resonate because of that.
Huh.
Interesting. So we've heard from a number of minor leaguers we've talked to, as you make the progression through the minors, obviously it gets a little bit harder, but one of the things we've heard is that jump from AAA to the majors it's not like jumping one level, it's like jumping 10.
So yeah.
How do you view that transition? And then when you get that first call up, how are you managing your expectations, but also kind of your emotions to make the jump and be on the big stage?
Yeah. I mean, it's the big difference for me was always speed. We had guys come back when I was in junior college that were in the big leagues, and they would work out before spring training, and we'd ask, "What's the difference?" And they'd say, "Okay, A ball as a pitcher, there's like three guys, maybe a fourth that you actually have to worry about. 5 through 9 they're all automatic outs. Don't even worry about them. You get to Double A, now it's 1 through 5. A good team might have 6. You get to Triple A, it's 1 through 6, 1 through 7. You get to the big leagues, it's 1 through 9, and the first two guys and probably 8 and 9, unless he's a catcher, can all run, and everything just speeds up. The big key for me was the defense also speeds up. The guys in the big leagues are getting to ground balls and balls in the outfield that guys aren't getting to in the minor leagues. So you're giving up a ball off the bat, and you're like, oh my God, that's a double in the gap. You got your center fielders over there camped out, catching it, no big deal, or a ball up the middle, you think it's a base hit. Nope, routine play for a big league shortstop. So,
Hmm.
thinking about getting to the big leagues. So when I was in Double A in Charlotte, I went, struggled mightily. Changeup, Maddox being the Cubs, everyone's like, oh, everybody's got to throw a changeup. And like I said, I didn't have one. I had to split. I was one of the guys that was way ahead of the game with a split finger, and I'd been throwing it since I was 15. So we had a guy come into the camp and the team go, "You're never getting to the big leagues with the Cubs without a changeup." So they said, "Quit." This guy said, "Quit throwing your split, work on a changeup, and we'll see what happens." Couldn't do it. I was getting my butt kicked. It's 0-3 with like an 11 ERA. Had a roving pitching instructor come in, Mo Drabowski, and he goes, "What the heck is going on? 2 years ago, you're 6th in the nation in strikeouts in college. You blew through A ball like it was nothing. Now you can't get anybody out." I said, "Well, this guy told me I can't get to the big leagues with the Cubs without a changeup." And he's like, "That guy's never played baseball, period. He's
Mhm.
never played. He's a front office guy. Don't." He's like, "Let's do this. Go back to your split. And if anybody asks, just tell them it's your changeup." I win my next 11 games. I go to the All-Star game, and I meet a guy named Paul Wagner. Great, great pitcher for the Pirates. 2 weeks after the All-Star game, he gets called up to the big leagues and wins his first 2 games. Clicked in my head right there. I'm like, if he can do it, we have very similar stuff. If he can go to the big leagues and have instant success, when I get there, I'm going to have a chance. So that was when I felt like at some point I'm going to get to the big leagues. So then,
That's
next
awesome.
year, go to that. They called us up. We were in the championship series. I pitched game 6 to get us to game 7. I win. And they tell me I'm going to the big leagues after game 7, but we have to play game 7 first, and you can't tell anybody.
How do
That's
you keep
awesome.
that secret?
Because 9 other guys are going with you, and we got to win game 7. So I'm sitting in the dugout, game 7 of our championship game, going, I want to win the championship. I also know tonight after this game, after we party, I'm going to Chicago, and I can't tell anybody during the entire game. It's the worst
Oh,
Oh
championship
man.
game I've probably ever been in. So we win.
That's
Luckily,
awesome.
we win it. We're having this raging party, and then at the same time, 9 of us are going to Chicago the next day. So,
Wow.
yeah, it was a crazy 48 hours for sure.
Sounds it.
that's wild.
All right. So you get to Chicago. You get you have a 2.14 ERA and 96 heading into the All-Star break, and you make the All-Star team. And you get an appearance in the All-Star game, top of the 7th inning.
Yep.
Do you remember who you retired?
I do. Yeah, I remember I threw 7 pitches.
Yeah.
1 pitch to Aroyd, 1 pitch to Sandy Alomar Sr., and then got 5 pitches to Cal Ripken Jr. And I almost hit Cal in the head.
Yep. I watched it last night. I watched the whole '96 All-Star game last night. It was pretty
Yeah,
cool.
that was crazy because Roberto Hernandez, who was a teammate with mine, during the team photos, so they put out the metal
Yeah.
benches. So he slips because he's wearing his metal spikes, and he throws up his elbows to balance himself, and he hits Cal right in the nose and breaks his nose.
Yeah.
So the first thing he's thinking is, "Oh my god, I just ended the streak."
Yeah.
Right? So then, go 4 hours later, it's time to pitch. My first pitch to Cal almost hits him in the head. I'm like,
Oh wow.
now I almost ended the streak.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw. I had no idea that happened until I watched the game last night, and they literally Cal gets off the bleachers and they literally reset his nose
Yep.
right there, and I was
And
like,
he still
"Oh,
played.
okay,
Still
yeah,
Oh my
Cal, right?
goodness.
unreal."
So I go
Yeah.
3-0 on him, and I get back in the count, 3-1. I'm like, I'm a control guy. I'm not walking him. So I'm like, here it is, three, right down the middle, just hit it. And he hits it 190 miles an hour, right to shortstop. Of course, the shortstop, we got Ozzie Smith, and he
Yeah,
picks it. He's like, this is nothing. I got this. I'm just like, damn, it's that easy.
Yeah.
yeah,
He goes, it's turf, kid. No, don't worry about it.
right.
But I
This is
warmed up
a
for that game. I threw my. I never had I wasn't really a bull. Come out of the bullpen for 5 years
right.
at that point. I think I threw 60 pitches in the bullpen to get ready for that game. That one inning, and I
Yeah,
throw 7 pitches, and it was over before I even knew it.
yeah.
And unfortunately, I
We
never got to go back. But yeah, that was
so
awesome.
so question in the chat here. Do you remember the first batter you ever faced in the show?
Chuck Carr, beep beep.
Chuck Carr, awesome.
3-1 fastball, same thing. I'm like, here it is, hit it. Flew out to center. Next batter, Brett Barbary, ground out to second. Third batter, Jeff Conine, home run to left center into the bleachers. Fourth batter, Orestes Estrada, strikeout, my first strikeout. That was my first
That's
inning.
man, that's
Never
incredible.
forget it.
That's
All right.
amazing.
So to kind of flip the script, your first pro home run. You've got
Yeah.
three career homers. The one you hit with the Mets was an absolute bomb, by the way. The one down
It's
the
the
left
only
field
one I
line.
knew was a homer.
That thing was crushed.
Yeah, it was gone. It was clearly gone off the bat.
So your first
Yeah.
career homer.
Kurt Schilling. Same thing, 3-1 fastball or 3-2 fastball. I don't even remember at that point. But yeah, I hit. It was just connected down the left field line. Wrigley, it's deep down the corners because of the family section. So I figure that's off the wall or whatever. I got to bust it to try to get to second, and landed in that family section.
That's awesome.
And then 2 innings later, I'm in the dugout. We're still pitching. Mark Gracie, Benito Santiago was catching for Kurt. And Gracie comes in and sits down next to me. He goes, hey, I got a quick question for you. It's like, were you cheating on that homer? I'm like, I'm sorry, what? I'm like, what do you mean? Was I cheating? He's like, yeah, did you like peak or something? I was like, it was a 3-1 fastball to a pitcher. I mean,
Right.
cheating what?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, Kurt thinks you were peaking or something at that point to hit the homer. I'm like, all right, whatever. Well,
Yeah. Man.
Oh, that's incredible.
He wants to drill me for that.
Yeah.
Whatever. We can worry about that next year.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So
But I do
you
have a
got
fourth homer. I hit a home run in spring training off of Eric
Okay.
Gagne.
Ooh.
oh
I know.
nice.
Before he
Good one.
was Eric Gagne.
Yeah, when you're still a starter.
I went 3 for 3 in that game with a homer. They sent him down to the minor leagues that night, and he came back throwing much harder.
Yeah.
And one of the best closers in history for 2 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
Crazy.
What is it like having a teammate like Mark Grace, who seems like he's got huge personality and brings that team alive?
He 100% does. He was my locker mate, so he took great care of me my first couple years. I got 6 years of secondhand smoke in my lungs because of him sitting next to him. But no, Gracie, we hung out a lot. And when I moved to Arizona, we hung out in the off season and played golf weekly and just went on motorcycle rides and stuff. And he kind of gave me a little bit of a education about how things work at the big leagues at that point. Terry Mulholland, Sean Dunston, Rod Beck, all those guys kind of took me under, and Unfortunately, the game kind of changed, towards the end of my career in New York. So it wasn't the same as being able to take care of guys or, get rookies to kind of keep their mouth shut, listen and learn, which is kind of what I was told. That's gone away a little bit, or actually a lot now. But yeah, no, Mark and I, when we don't see him much, I try to see him when we get to, in Arizona, if possible, or when they come out when he's doing stuff with the D-backs. But I did fly back there to Chicago when they put him in the Hall of Fame, and I got to spend some time with him there. And yeah, he was loved him, love Mark.
That's
Do anything.
awesome. All right,
Yeah.
so let's
Yep.
yeah. So let's switch teams on you now. So let's go over to the Met side of your career
Actually,
here.
hang on. Before we go to
Okay,
the
go
Mets
ahead.
side, I want
Sorry.
to go into 98
You
a little
skipping
bit.
Tampa?
Sorry. Well, no, I do have one point in
Safe,
Tampa.
yeah. We won't let Tampa escape because as Red Sox fans, we then saw you again.
Yeah.
But I want to go back to the Cubs for a minute. So I want to go back to the season of 98.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you go win 15 games, you get the ball in game 163. So the biggest game the Cubs have had since like 1989. You get the ball.
Yep.
You go 6 1/3, 1 hit. What is it like, first of all, to get the ball in a game like that? And then what is Wrigley like down on the field when you're throwing a no-hitter through the first 6 frames?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it was kind of my spot to come up, to pitch. So I kind of expected to get the ball. But, I kind of went back on that where, pitching in college, the us to the College World Series, in the College World Series, game 6 of that AAA championship. I kind of used all of those learning tools of being able to manage emotions and focus and all of that. Wrigley Field that night was just, I mean, the electricity was just unbelievable. You'll remember the Harry Carey pass that year. So that giant balloon over and behind the left field bleachers of Harry was there. I mean, the electricity of Wrigleyville getting into the stadium. I don't know what time they started. They probably started at noon. Was just absolutely insane. The game itself was kind of a blur. I actually watched it again maybe a year ago, and there was so much that happened in that game that I don't even remember happening. I mean, I think I walked 6 guys in that game or something, like 5 guys.
Yep.
I mean, that whole game for me now just boils down to me striking out Barry, Brett Main getting a base hit, and Rod Beck getting the pop up to first. And that's like the 3 things that really, Eddie hitting the homer. It's like those 4 things are like in my head. Most of everything else is kind of a blur. I mean, I don't remember hitting in that game. Couldn't even tell you what I did. I don't remember any big double plays or anything else that really happened or big defensive plays that happened. It's just those 4 points. It's just like boom, 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 game's over, and then celebrate.
So
Yeah, that game was wild because like when Gaetti hits that home run, like the cameras were shaking. It was so loud there, but
the stadium was shaking. We were in the dugout. It was just like, oh my God, this place is 150 years old. It's going to fall apart.
Yeah. So in the 4th inning, do you remember hitting Jeff Kent? And then
I don't.
So in the 4th inning, you're still cruising with a no hitter, and Wrigley was loud and excited, and then you hit Jeff Kent, and it gets a little quieter, and then it was walk, and so they're loaded with 2 outs.
Oh dang!
No hitter still intact. You get a huge strikeout to end the inning, and then Wrigley goes from very quiet, like holding their breath, to absolute insanity again when that inning finally ended.
Damn! Yeah, I'll have to go back and watch it again.
Yeah. It was such a cool game to watch, and just the way that team handled the Giants. You got Barry Bonds in the game. Everybody knows Barry's story,
Yep.
who Barry is. You got Jeff Kent, who's also a monster. You tamed that lineup in a massive, massive game for a team that hadn't been in the playoffs in a while.
Yeah, other thing was I remember Terry Mulholland pulling me aside after that game and just kind of looking at me like, they'll never be able to take this game away from you, and they'll always have to be able to say that you are capable of being a big game pitcher. They'll always have to use that. So that was one of the best compliments after that game I'd ever gotten. So
yeah, that's incredible. So
that is incredible.
I might be picking at a scab here, and you're probably asked this question a lot, so I apologize. But the home run race of '98. right?
Yep.
You have a teammate that is right on Mark McGuire's heel. I mean, that must have been incredible to watch that.
The
Just
most amazing June of all time, right?
20 home runs in a month is insane. So you're at Busch Stadium, you're facing Mark McGuire,
Yeah.
and he just kind of laces it down the line, the shortest one of the year, but it squeaks over the fence.
Yep.
What's the thought in your head going? Because I mean, your teammates are giving him all high fives as he's making the lap around, but like you're the one that gave it up. Like, so like,
Right.
what is your emotions in that moment?
Yeah. I mean, in general, I was pissed.
Right, as you would be.
Fair.
I get
Right.
it.
But we literally talked about it in our pitchers meeting before the series started. You know, none of us wanted to be in that situation. And when he hit the 61 off, Mike Morgan the night before, I basically said, "All right, well, it was already going to be on tomorrow. Now it's really going to be on."
Yeah.
And besides the fact that the Cubs, at least we were in a pennant, playoff race at that point too. So, um, playoff race, Cubs Cardinals already, huge, and then of course with Mark going chasing that. Yeah, it was shortest home run he hit that year, maybe his career. The year before, that's off the wall. They actually adjusted the fence from the year before, so that was a double. But literally off the bat, based on the the location and the way he made contact, I'm thinking, okay, that ball's curving foul. That's a rocket foul ball down the left field line, and he literally hit it so hard it didn't have time to curve.
Yeah.
So um, you can kind of see it's funny. I don't watch the high fives when guys because we guys had talked about they didn't want to celebrate it at all. You can look at their faces. So if you watch it again, watch their faces. Don't watch the high fives. It's actually pretty funny. You can kind of see like, oh God, I don't want to. You know what? All right, like, we get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially Scott Service, his face was the best. Like, you could think of what he was saying in his mind. Even Gracie, at first. And I always tease him because, like, if you watch him, Mark McGuire, not Mark Grace, when he rounds first base, he misses first base,
Right.
and the first base coach coaches him back to touch first, which if I think correctly, is against the rules, and he should have been called out for that because I think he actually made
Make
contact
contact with him. I didn't even
before he
think about
touched
that.
first base. Could you imagine if that had happened? Would have been an absolute riot.
Oh yeah,
Oh, that
for
would
sure.
have been nuts.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just it happened. I
Yeah.
was probably more disappointed in Sammy coming in and celebrating with him
Yeah.
than I was with guys actually shaking his hand around the bases. And actually saw Mark the next night out at the bar at a couple bars. We had a couple beers together, talked about it, and I think he was a little disappointed too in Sammy coming in because it wasn't Sammy's moment; it was his moment. He was trying to share it with his family. But yeah, just he sent me a bat the next day. Hey, I got a signed bat with and all that. I mean, was gracious as can be, and I think that his first out, I think he flew out to center and got the ball back, and I think it was a ball off the end of the bat, and it was an egg. He literally, it was misshapen, and I was like,
Crazy.
thinking, like, God, I would really love to use this, and then of course they realized it was because they were marking the balls, so I had to give
right.
it back anyway because they had the authentication stuff on them or the holograms. I was like, well, I know how to do a scuff ball. I could probably do a cut ball. What the hell do you do with a ball in the shape of an egg?
Yeah.
I
That's crazy.
wouldn't even know what if it would go straight or what. So
Yeah.
um,
Wow.
yeah, and then he hit 70 or 7 whatever it was, and 3 weeks later it was kind of a forgotten thing,
Yeah.
to an extent until he got popped officially for the steroids, and then it blew up all over again for about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the feeling around baseball during that home run race? Kind of knowing that there was, the steroids were a thing, and like, what was the general feeling around guys in clubhouses? Was it just it is what it is, or was there kind of some general dislike
Uh,
of it?
it wasn't. It was a lot mixed. We were kind of in a situation where we really couldn't say anything because we pretty much knew what Sammy was doing. So if we're say something, then they're going to say something. So we're kind of be shooting ourselves in the foot. The media and the amount of press was probably the biggest thing that was crazy because we would play day games and Sammy would hit 1 or 2 or whatever, and it's like, okay, he's getting closer. So I'm sure Mark was watching in St. Louis, and the press there was like going, "Hey, before the game, Sammy hit 1. What are you going to do today?" So we'd come back the next morning, and it'd be like, "Hey, Mark hit 1 last night. What's going to happen today?" So it was kind of a circle. That was probably the one downfall of having day games because we were just kind of double whammied with the amount of press. But I mean, obviously it was unbelievably exciting. And I get the fans loved it. You know, we loved it because we were also watching King Griffey Jr. try to catch up.
That's right.
On the West Coast. So I mean, the excitement of it all. Granted, yeah, it was helping us win games because of what Sammy was doing. I get it, but same time, it's like, do you say something? Do you not say something? You say something as, hey, I mean, proof. I never saw Sammy do anything. Never saw Mark do anything. You just kind of got that point where, like 2 years prior, second basemen who are hitting 10 home runs are now hitting 30. You got guys getting 10, going to 50. It's like, okay, something's going on here. We watch guys' bodies. Your eyes tell you. It's the same thing with baseball. Your eyes tell you when guys are getting tired. Are guys throwing harder? My eyes say not much harder than before, just a few more of them. But they brought baseball back, which at the same time we also needed. So
Yeah,
yeah.
it's kind of a double-edged sword.
You can make an argument either way on multiple things.
Before we move on from the Cubs, do we have any insider anecdotes about Harry Carey? Like any personal stories about Steve Trachsel and Harry Carey?
I don't know if it's a personal story. I always loved. I still don't know how he got away with it. So he always had Arnie Harris, who was the producer. Show pictures of people, walking around in the stadium and all that, and they always love people's hats and all of that. And I still can't believe. I would love to find a video of this. It's got to be somewhere, and it's probably turned into more of a joke. Hopefully, I'm allowed to say this, but he goes to Steve Stone, and they're showing this loving couple, the pre-kiss cam type thing, and he literally goes, "Look at that, Steve. He's kissing her on strikes, and she's kissing him on the balls." And we were in the clubhouse. We were like, "Oh my God, did he just say?"
Oh my God,
he got away with it. I couldn't believe it.
That's hilarious.
Other than that, no, I mean, we saw Harry. We were like, we'd go on a family trip. You bring it in. The one thing, Harry had to seat 1A, or whatever, the aisle seat in first class, get on the plane, and it took an hour to get board on the plane because he had to have every single guy's wife and or girlfriend. Not the same, not both. We didn't bring them both.
Yeah.
So he would say hi to him on the plane. He had 25 wives and girlfriends, and he had to say hello personally to every single one of them. So it would take like an hour and 20 minutes to load the plane to leave Chicago. But no, he was absolutely the biggest Cubs baseball across the board fan. He loved everything about it. And nothing too crazy with Harry, because by the time I got there, for the most part, everyone still thinks he was drinking during games, and he wasn't. After his stroke, I never saw him with a real beer. He had a fake Budweiser bottle that he would hold. It wasn't a real beer, so he didn't drink after his stroke. So that was all just all natural personality. It's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, such a legend.
Yes, sure.
All right, so let's switch you to the Rays. So we'll go to the Rays first. Right. Sure. You go to Fenway Park, and you're pitching against Pedro Martinez. Pedro Martinez puts up 17 Ks. He just is mowing down the Rays. But you on the other side of the ball here have 11 Ks, go complete game, and you beat the Red Sox 1-0. Walk us through that start, or is that one a blur too?
Pedro's got nothing on me.
Yeah, I love it.
You heard it here first, everybody.
No, actually, my first major league win was also against Pedro in Montreal. So, and I went 7 scoreless that game. I got a double off of him. He drilled me with an 0-2 fastball. Shocker, Pedro, right?
Yeah, of course he did.
Yeah, of course he did. And so no, and that game, I do remember quite a bit about because the mental toll that game took on me was just insane. I remember it was my first time in Fenway, which of course was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Warming up in that bullpen, which is right there next to the fans. It's about as close to any fans you're ever going to be, especially behind you. And I just remember the fans all just kind of laughing, and I couldn't tell if they were like when they were saying, good luck, good luck. It was like, were they being honest? Which I felt in my heart they were being honest, saying, "Hey, good
Right.
luck today," or it was like, "Good luck. You got the Sox and you got Pedro today. You got no chance." Which is probably the reality. But in my heart, they were on my side for 30 seconds anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember just going 0 for 0 with him for I think we even had 2 innings which for me striking out the side period, it was pretty rare to do it. I think twice in a game maybe was
Mm.
very, very rare. And yeah, I remember. I can't remember who hit it, but it was a ground ball that went through Fred McGriff's legs, and like late in the game, it was kind of like, oh man, this could be it. And I remember getting out of the inning, and finally Greg Vaughn got a base hit to drive in a run for us. And it's like, okay, we're up on the board now. Finally, 1-0, and Pedro just kept boom, strikeout, strikeouts, like it was nothing. And I just remember the end of the game, just fans actually cheering for us. I was actually it was really cool because we saw that a lot as a Cub in St. Louis, and to see it in New York, pretty rare. And I just assumed Boston was pretty much the same, and it is for the most part. But they actually gave us a cheer, kind of an ovation as our team to win 1-0. And I remember doing the interviews after the game. Obviously, they had interviewed Pedro first, and I can't remember who. I don't know if it was Tim McCarver or not, but he was saying how Pedro said he had a lot of fun that day, and I was like, "Fun? I want to go to bed and sleep for 36 hours. I am absolutely mentally exhausted right now." That
Yeah.
game was just an absolute grind, and I don't know if it's just because the extra emotion of being in Fenway or knowing it's Pedro or being 0-0.
Hmm.
For him, it's probably because he's pitched games like that a lot.
Yeah.
And I hadn't. So that was my first time really dealing with a game like that where I got to complete it and get through it. And yeah, it's definitely one of my probably top 5 games of my career for sure.
Yeah, you were dealing
Incredible.
that game. I went through the highlights of that, and I was like, man, your splitter was on. It was dashing away from the lefties. Like they had no answer for you. So it was
Yeah, I remember
impressive to
getting a
watch.
strikeout against John Valentine. It was almost kind of a splitty away, which wasn't something I did a lot.
Yeah.
And um, I'd like to say I did it on purpose. Maybe it wasn't, But I remember getting a big strikeout against John Valentine with that, and yeah, and then going 5 days later, going seven scoreless against the Yankees too. So the two evil empires, compared that everyone talks about,
Yeah.
to get 17 scoreless against those two guys was pretty good.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. If I had to pick games to watch, that anybody would want to watch, like a Digny tape, those 2 games especially would be on it.
All right. I'll have to go back and watch the Yankees one because I watched the
Yeah.
Red Sox one. It was impressive.
It was a
You'll see
great
a
game.
lot of Bernie Williams and Derek Jeter and who was O'Neill bitching to the umpires about called third strikes, but you can watch any Yankees game and see that happen.
Oh, yeah. Well, there was one against the Red Sox because you were pitching against Carl Everett, and he went off on one of the
Oh,
pitches you
well,
throw.
he had
But
that. He had that
yeah,
ability
but
to.
we Carl
Yeah.
Everett.
Carl Everett went
But-
off because he stepped on the white line. Like you never know what was going to happen with that guy.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Speaking of the strike zone, Steve,
Mhm.
obviously the umps are under a microscope these days with
Mhm.
the pitch box, and now we're going to have the ABS system come. And what are your thoughts on the strike zone in general? Back when you were pitching, was it did you have a lot of kind of wild calls, or do you think it was a pretty consistent strike zone?
It was umpire by umpire, and I think the same now. Now they have an actual sheet, before the game of the umpire and his tendencies and his hot and cold zones and stuff. But we knew that we would have umpires on a getaway day. I remember Frank Pulley would come out and you're exchanging the lineup cards, and he'd like fake look at his watch, be like, 1 o'clock game, guys. Umpire's got a 4:30 flight. Swing the bats. And you knew that. And he just said it. He was, hey, gonna have a big zone. We're going to try to shorten this game up so we can all get out of here. And but we all knew the guys. We like, Paul Runge. If you hit the glove, it was a pretty good chance you were going to get the call. And Larry Poncino, you didn't know.
Yeah.
Bruce Fleming, you didn't know. You could get it in the third inning, but then in the next inning, you weren't going to get it. You might not get one down the middle, but you knew that going in, and so you mentally prepared for that. I think now they're just trying to make it. Here's the box, here's the square. I would love to know how accurate the thing is on TV. I don't think it's 100% because if it is, they're missing more now than ever. Seems to be in the hitter's favor, if you ask me. But I'm a pitcher. What do you expect?
Right.
I don't know if I'm more of a purist. I'm not a Pitchcock fan for many reasons. I pick-off rule, which would absolutely ended my career probably. But at the same time, I guess, if you're trying to speed games up and you're trying to get younger fans into it, I do understand that portion of it. But, I'm a purist. I want to know that the umpire might be different than last night's umpire. I want to be able to factor that into my game, into my prep, how I'm going to attack hitters, how I'm going to attack certain hitters. If I know I can get 2 inches off the outside corner when I need it, being a location guy, I'm going to save it. I'm not going to overuse it. If there's a tight spot where runners, game's on the line, runners in scoring position, and number 3 or 4 guys at the plate, if I need a free strike and I know I can go out there, boom, I'm going to go get it. If it's going to help me in the 5th inning, I'm not going to use it in the 1st inning. I'm going to save it. And I don't think the game's like that. Well, no one's going more than 5 innings now, so it doesn't matter. But
also true.
Fair.
So, it was just all part of the chess match that the game was when you went in.
Yeah. Was there a particular umpire you'd see behind the plate and go, "Oh man, this isn't going to be my night"? And on the flip side, was there a guy you'd see that would be like, "This is exactly who I want"?
Not too many. I mean, my first. I don't know if it was my first in '93 or '94. I just remember a game. I had Paul Runge behind the plate, and going back to Mark Grace and those guys, and they get, "Hey, this guy's a veteran umpire. He's going to test you because you're a rookie, or it's your first few games, and at some point." You're going to throw a pitch. It's an obvious strike, and he's going to look for your reaction. And it was, I almost feel it was like the first or second pitch of the ball game. Fastball, thigh high, right down the middle, ball. And he does this from behind the catcher to look at me. And I didn't do anything. So next pitch or 2 pitches later, 6 inches off the outside corner, boom, glove doesn't move. That's right. And I got that pitch the rest of the game off the plate. But that next inning, I go in and Gracie sits down next to me and goes, "Did you notice he looked at you?" I'm like, "I kind of did." He's like, "He was looking for your reaction. You didn't react. And that's why you're getting those calls off the outside corner the rest of the game." And I didn't get 6 inches off the corner the rest of my career, but that game, it's like, okay. And it was nice to have that interaction with players, Joe West, I had beers with Joe West after a couple games, and just an awesome, awesome dude. And, you see him on the field, a lot of people don't like him because, he was all about rules and but away from the ballpark, he, have a couple Coors Lights with him and, he'd be out on the dance floor, country's dancing and stuff. You're just like,
that's awesome.
If everyone else saw this guy, they wouldn't be so angry with him on the field.
Yeah,
and,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so let's
the game within the game. It's so cool to hear.
Yeah. And I don't know if that works anymore because so much is on, your wrist buzzes, and so you got to call pitch violation or however they do it, or my intercom's not working and
yeah. All right, so let's switch over to the Mets now. It's 2001. We all know what happens in September 11th, 2001. You're on the Mets. What was that atmosphere around New York, Queens, the ballpark? Like, I mean, I was a senior in high school. It's a big spot in history, and you guys are right in the middle of it. And then to be the first baseball game back after 9/11, the Mike Piazza homer, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Just kind of walk us through that whole scenario, if you could.
I mean, we were actually in Pittsburgh, and there was a federal building across the street from our hotel. So they evacuated the hotel, they evacuated us because I guess at some point they had intel that that federal building could possibly be a ticket or a target. I'm assuming all federal buildings were probably a target. So
Yeah.
they took us out to this hotel out in the middle of nowhere. And just like everyone else, we were just absolutely glued to CNN in stunned disbelief. Um, so that we were back in New York, I think night of the 12th or early morning on the 13th. And Shea Stadium was a staging ground.
Oh yeah.
There, they were using the parking lot for supplies and assistance to take everything down to ground zero. So we were there pretty much every day, helping out, loading trucks, stacking donations. Whether it's any kind of supplies, gloves, boots, dog food, bottles of water, masks for downtown. And then it's like, I lived in Connecticut and in Stamford, and I'd go home at night, and you go to pass by the train station, the Metro North, and they were starting to tag cars that were there for 3, 4, 5, 6 days and hadn't been moved. And obviously they ended up being, those were all cars that guys worked in the towers, so, they start towing cars, because they, just, um, then you start talking to our security guards who are obviously all ex-police or part-time police or both. And, their buddies, they're telling stories. Oh, we're waiting to hear from this guy, and we're waiting to hear this guy, and then the firemen, and
Mm.
so kind of we all knew somebody at some point. And then it started, the numbers just started to grow, people that we knew and all that. It's like, okay, so what do we do? And they started talking about the games. Like, we're like, "Man, we got to play, of course." And they're like, "Well, do we have fans? Do we put another situation with 50,000 people in the crowd so close to an airport?" And it's like, well, the airplane, planes aren't flying at this point, so that's kind of takes that out of the equation. And for the next 2 years, every time a plane flew over Shea, it's like, it was an instant flashback.
Mm.
When it came to that game, I mean, the amount of security, we always had high security at Shea. We always had bomb sniffing dogs go through the clubhouse and the dugouts. And, now we have not one dog, but we have 10.
Hmm.
Uh, we got snipers in the light standards. We have, you know, policemen or whatever's above a policeman dressed in, uniforms, almost as if the president was there because because
Because he
America.
wasn't what he threw out the first pitch in that game, right?
Right.
That first game
Yes,
back.
you had a fifth umpire on the field instead of four, and you had extra guys, and it just that level of security. But when it came down to the game, all I watch it now, I just remember being so angry. Still, that
Mm.
whole game, I was just still mad. And it took me a few innings to kind of try to relax and get my mind into like, oh, we're the Mets, we're playing the Braves. This is like Cubs Cardinals. This is big for us. Besides the fact that it's, the first game back, and we're supposed to hate those guys across the dugout. And like,
Right.
can't hate them because I'm hating everything else that happened at that point.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And then we go and we shake hands before the game, and and you have the bagpipes. Oh,
Yeah.
the bagpipes. They still, I can't hear the bagpipes without tearing up. Now, even now, and just being angry, and then Mike hitting that homer, and it was just like this giant exhale of relief and excitement and anger. Just try to let it all go, and then it's like we won the game, but the winning the game at that point was kind of like, it's like, okay, we're one step back to what might be normal within the next 6 to 8 months. And that was step one. I've gone back for the 10 year at Shea, still at Shea. No, take that back. It was at City Field at that point. And they brought back the firemen, a lot of the firemen that were there that
Hmm.
night too. And they were still emotional and all that. The 20 year was the first time where it was like almost, you know, not as emotional, not as tense, and you could actually have normal conversations with these guys and talk about their families. We did a lot with Tuesday's Children at the field, and it shocked me because I had really young, just had a young kid. The children seemed to really be the easiest to adapt. I remember the blank look and the glaze of the wives' eyes that would come for years. It took them years to kind of finally feel normal again. Kids are obviously very resilient. I do remember that, but yeah, I remember seeing the wives, of the lost firemen and stuff, and it's just really hard to describe. Just the loss and the what do I do now type of how do I move on type of a feeling. So
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing with that. I know it was as an emotional time like that. It means a
yeah,
lot for you to share. But I know, like, when we talk about like all-time MLB moments, like Mike Piazza for us is way up there because just what you described, like the big exhale from like not only just Mets and Braves fans, but from everybody in the country being like, okay, maybe we are back to normal here.
mhm.
Baseball's back. We can start getting, like, you could feel the pressure release just a little bit. So that's incredible to hear you go
And I
through that.
felt for Steve Carsey because he was a friend, and he was a New York guy too.
Mm,
He's from right down the street, I think, in Queens. So, and to be on the other side,
yeah,
he's now pitching against the Mets in that big situation, but he's also a New Yorker, so he's kind of feeling it double, and
dang.
all of that. So,
Mhm.
Yeah.
but
All
yeah.
right, so let's move a little bit further to '06.
Mhm.
You're playing the Cardinals, and Andy Chavez makes that
That
ridiculous catch over the left field fence. What are you guys doing in the dugout? Are you like crashing into each other, like celebrating, like going
I
wild?
was actually in the bullpen at that point, just because we were piecing everything together.
Oh yeah,
But when we saw that, we all just kind of like glanced at each other, like going, "Oh my God, it's karma." That's like that. When someone throws a no hitter, there's always that one play, right?
yep,
For this whole series, we're like, "Oh damn, that's the play. That's the one everyone's going to remember to get us over the top." And son of a bitch.
yeah.
Unbelievable catch.
Yes, unreal.
Yeah, just came up that short.
Oh, yeah,
Cardinals had those two young guys that ended up being future Hall of Famers, and at the time, everyone's like, "Adam Wainwright? What the hell? Adam Wainwright? Really?" Now
hmm
everyone's like, huh, "Adam Wainwright, Molina, Hall of Famers. Okay,
yeah, yeah,
we didn't know
yeah,
that. We know now."
yeah. They
Yeah.
spent some time together. It seems just a
Yeah,
little bit of time,
they panned out okay.
Yeah.
as they would say
Yeah.
for
That
sure.
worked out all right.
Yeah.
Huh. All right, I got a couple more questions. So for you, who was the one guy you completely owned? Like you saw him come up to the plate, and you were like, "Yep, here we go." And on the flip side, who was the guy? No matter what you
No matter
threw at
what,
him, you couldn't
it's
get him out.
it's pretty easy. Well, not easy to pick a guy. If I don't know that I owned anybody, I guarantee you he was left-handed because of my split.
Yep.
And if the guys that owned me, I can think of guys like Edgardo Alfonso, Moises Alou, Matt Williams. They were right-handers because I didn't have like a slider away from them. My split was a pitch that would break into them, so it was a little
Mm,
bit less of an equalizer than it was to lefties. Um, I would remember because I would go through a lineup the night before my games of who I would expect to face, and then I remember showing up for games the next morning and seeing the lineup and be like going, "What the
Oh. Oh no.
oh no, we were cruising.
We were flying almost to
Okay.
the end. That's right.
Oh,
There
there
we
we go.
are."
There he is. He's
There we
back.
go.
Cool. Yeah. So yeah, I've seen a lineup with all these lefties in it. I'm like, don't these guys know I get lefties out and righties hit really well off of me? Like, why isn't there 7 righties? So, but Moises Alou, Edgardo Alfonso, those guys, I think, I don't know what their numbers are, but I felt like they owned me very well. Left-handers, if I could pound fastball in, split away, I'd get a lot of rollovers to second. So lefties never really bothered me. Like I'd face Barry Bonds 6 times if I had to versus, Matt Williams or Moises Alou. I felt like I just had better. My stuff got them out easier than it did righties.
Yeah, nice.
Makes sense. Because I look back at the few
I know
games I saw
Mickey
you against
Morandini
the
hit like
Giants.
400 off me, but he was lucky.
It's like you always seem to handle a guy like Bonds pretty well.
The Giants were that one team for me. I don't know why. That Giants team. For whatever.
Oh man.
Oh.
I don't know what's going on here. You're good.
Yeah, there we go. For what Giants were that team that I always had a lot of success against for some reason.
Interesting.
I'll take it.
My one game back after my back surgery, I beat them 1-0. David Wright hit a solo homer, and I went 8 scoreless against them. Had a lot of good games at Candlesticks, great place to pitch, but yeah.
Yep. Incredible. Love it. We're almost there.
That was weird.
Yeah.
Hang on. There we go.
We only have an hour.
Yeah. Well, Harrison, do you have any other questions or?
I would just love to understand, during your career, was there a particular city that you really loved going to? And then also, was there one that you really didn't enjoy going to?
Whew.
Man, why does it keep dropping?
Hang on.
Yeah. There was a lot of cities. Like I didn't know Detroit very well. I know going to New York my first time scared the bejesus out of me because it was like 3:00 in the morning and there was 400,000 people on the street and I couldn't figure out why. Love going to St. Louis. Obviously love Chicago. Anything in California and LA, San Diego was great because it's my friends and family would all come. Montreal was actually a very cool town. It was a great town. The 2 months I played in Toronto's very similar to Chicago. So that was I used to tell people, what I do in Chicago. If you don't love sports, beer, food, don't bother coming here, or music, stay away. And in Toronto was very much the same way. So,
I don't know why it keeps doing it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Looks like we have to do episode 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah. I know like our followers have a ton of questions, but we're having a little bit of difficulty here. I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to come on with us and run through your career. We would love to have you back on at some time and talk some more if you're around and up for it. But this was absolutely incredible. We appreciate your time and running us down through our memories. Because I know going back through the chat, like you were a huge part of a lot of our childhoods and baseball growing up. So we appreciate you taking the time, and it was really great to talk to you and really appreciate it.
Yeah, well, I'd be happy to do it again. Maybe we can do a question and answer.
That would be awesome.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, the fans would love it.
Book a few hours for a Q&A.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'm sure 80% of them have the same question.
Well, it's all good.
I'm sure it's got nothing to do with the pitch clock.
No, nothing.
Right on, guys. Thanks,
but yeah,
Nick.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll be in touch, Steve. We'd love to have you on because I know these guys want to talk to you as well in the chat. So we will definitely pick a time. I'll be in touch with him for sure. But yeah, I don't know. We were rolling there. I don't know what happened. Oh, there he is.
I know. Hang on.
Yeah. So
weird.
Yeah, I know all of a sudden it's dropping, but yeah, we'll definitely be in touch. We can set up another time. But this was an absolute blast,
Yeah.
and thank you so much.
Yeah,
Really
thank you so
appreciate
much.
it.
This was
Enjoyed
great.
it. Definitely.
All right,
Always fun talking
awesome.
ball. That's for sure.
All right,
We love it.
anytime, Steve, you're
Thanks,
welcome.
guys.
So we'll be in touch. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right.
All right,
Yeah.
have a good one.
We'll see you all over
Thanks, Steve.
social media.
That's
Absolutely.
right. All right.
Don't forget to
Take
answer the
care, guys.
trivia.
I'm terrible. I need 3 guesses every time.
Yep, it's all right. You're good.
All right, guys. Cheers.
All right, see you. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Steve.
Take care. Wow. I'm geeking out. That was incredible. I loved every second of that. To be able to run through a career like that was awesome. That was astonishing. I'm lost for words right now. I'm still geeking out.
I mean, it was just so cool because like I remember, like I asked him about the '98 game, game 163. I remember watching that game, and it was an incredible game. And edge of your seat, he's got a no hitter through 6, and you're like, what's going to happen? He walks the bases loaded in the 4th, gets out of it. It was absolutely insanity. And I just, again, like we told him beforehand, we are New Englanders. We are Red Sox fans. I watched him pitch probably more than anybody in the National League, or maybe anybody anywhere, because I had WGN all the time.
Right. Yeah. Thanks, guys, in the chat. I'm glad you guys enjoyed that. I'm gonna be floating on cloud 9 here for a while. That was pretty damn incredible.
Yeah, but I would love to get him back on to do some Q&A. I would love to go deeper into some of that stuff. And,
and
just
he
talk
sounds
ball.
like he's for it. He's all for it. So
And
I will definitely be.
I'd love to really poke at the steroids thing because he called him Aroid. It was very clearly calling him Aroid.
Yeah.
He definitely has some strong feelings on that. So I would love to dig into some of this with him.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Man, oh man, love it. And the fact that he said that like Mike Hampton also was like liking our stuff. I'm gonna have to go back through that post. I'm gonna have to try to find it now.
I'm pretty sure like a year ago I got into a bit of a debate on a post with Carl Everett. And like you go to the Facebook page and it's absolutely the baseball player Carl Everett.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe there's more people out there that are, checking out our page than we realize, but I still think it's amazing that we put a trivia question out about him. He just so happens to see it. He answers it, and here we are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, what are the odds of all that connecting? It's incredible, but
right. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm glad everybody enjoyed it. I'm glad it was really cool. I mean, and for him to share like the in-depth part of 9/11 too, like, I mean, it's a side of it that we never got to see from a baseball side. And you don't even think about like, they use Citi Field or Shea Field as like a home base for a lot of products. And they were there on the front lines helping get supplies out to the place. Just absolutely incredible.
Yeah, that was a cool learning that they were actually out there in the parking lots loading trucks. Like it's like, all right, we're here. Let's be helpful. And that's, that's the side of it that nobody really sees because it just had to get done.
Yeah. Yeah. I was a little bit surprised with this too, Forrest, because of outside fan perspective looking in, you're thinking that like, that's like a good show of sportsmanship, right? Because Forrest says, I was surprised he said McGuire wished Sammy hadn't come in from the outfield on 62 because he wanted that moment with his family, which I mean, I get
to each other.
Yeah. But man, that was absolutely incredible. But
yeah, Ryan, I promise I'm not on any flat earth pages. This was actually on one of our trivia questions. I do believe the earth is round, and I do believe dinosaurs may or may not have existed. So I'm not with Carl Everett on the crazy conspiracy theories, but we had him respond to a trivia question. I went back and forth with him a couple of times, and then tried to connect with him, and he disappeared. But it was absolutely his Facebook page. It was pretty weird.
Yeah. But yeah, and thanks, Brandon. Yeah, that was really cool. Like it just felt like we were just talking about baseball. That's what we want this platform to be, period. It's just everybody comes and talks baseball. And man, I think that's the most surprising part of all of this is that, we put these guys on like such a pedestal because they're ball players and we pay to watch them play and we love what they do. But at the end of the day, they're just normal dudes that just have a really good skill. They're just good at baseball. Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily mean they're much different than us. They just had a different experience, and it's fun to be able to just like sit there and talk baseball with guys that like lived the moments that we're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely incredible.
Wild.
So I
I'm
don't
not
know
sure how we recover from that, Nick.
I
Like,
that
where do
was
we
just
go from
gonna
here?
say, like, I was just gonna say I don't know how to segue into the rest of the news and trivia and stuff we got because, well, I mean, that was incredible. But
Yeah.
here we go. We'll try, I guess.
Let's do it.
Right before we come on, Red Sox and Pirates make a trade. The Red Sox receive Johan Oviedo, Tyler, so I'm not even going to try that last name, and Adonis Guzman for the password, Justinson Garcia and Jesus Tavicio. I probably butchered that last name too, so you're welcome. The password is no longer in Boston, but how do we like this trade, Harrison?
I mean, I think Oviedo's proven to be a good pitcher. We actually saw him pitch in Baltimore when we went. He was the
did.
pitcher in that game. Big dude.
Yep.
But I mean, I think he's proven to be a good major league arm. He probably slots in towards the back of that rotation. Gives them certainly the depth they've been dying to have. A little disappointed to see the password leave. I think that's a guy with a high ceiling that I think would become one of those guys who's like a cult icon in Boston, but probably a good move for him because he might make that Pittsburgh Pirates team. Given with the Red Sox, he's got a logjam of guys ahead of him, and it's probably not a good path for him.
Yeah. I mean, it's a log jam in the outfield for the Red Sox. So this is an obvious move to kind of move on and get a decent arm for him in return. So that's one hell of a trade for consonants and vowels.
Yeah.
Yeah, you ain't wrong. But yeah, absolutely.
This is the weirdest game of Scrabble I've ever seen.
Yeah. A lot of points to be had in that name, that's for sure. But yeah. Yeah, thanks, Flat Cheese. Like, this is exactly what we want this show and platform to be, is just, it's your show just as much as ours. So appreciate that comment. It means a lot.
We're trying to create the place you can go and just like hang out with your buddies and talk baseball that we all wish we had. Like, this is what it is.
Yep, exactly. All right, and your NL Gold Glove winners are the San Francisco Giants. Why, you ask? Because Ron Washington is now the infield coach of the San Francisco Giants. Yeah, John Temple sent me this right before we came on the show too. And he goes, yeah, Gold Glove winners are all over the Giants infield now. So you got Rafael Devers there with a Gold Glove. So we're going to see him at first base.
Is it third or first? Where we think he's going to play?
Yes.
DH?
Yeah, you could probably win a Gold Glove at DH. It's a new category next year. Devers
might be the only guy that can win a Gold Glove at DH because he wins a Gold Glove just for not being on the field.
Yeah. This is like Cheers, except it's all about baseball, and I don't know if everyone has a beer. Fair. Yeah, so how do we like this for the Giants? Does this help the Giants get over the proverbial hump, if you will?
I mean, I don't know that defense was a problem for the Giants. I mean, you've got Matt Chapman at third, you got Patrick Bailey behind the plate, you've got an outfield that's full of guys that are all generally good. Young-Ho Lee's a good outfielder. Ramos is serviceable. It doesn't hurt. I mean, you've already got a team where defense wasn't necessarily a weakness. And then you add a guy like Washington to the mix that's only going to get better. I do think for a guy like Rafi Devers, who's making a transition to first, Ron Washington will be a huge asset for that. But I mean, I would love Ron Washington anywhere. I mean, I love that. I love the baseball guy that he is. So you can't lose putting him on your staff. I just, like I told you, I didn't think he was able to coach. I thought health-wise he was out.
Yeah, and maybe it was just the managerial part of it that was too taxing for him. Maybe in a smaller bench role. But I'm with you. I thought he was out because of health reasons too. So I don't know.
Yeah, I saw this come across and I went, I didn't think he was available, but okay. I mean, great.
Yeah, Cap and agree. Juan Washington's never a bad hire. I mean, he's not going to make your defense worse. So, I mean,
no,
you're right. He's not a bad hire. Devers would have a Gold Glove with a can of Krylon.
How about Curtis Devers as a winner at Golden Corral?
Yep. Oh my God, man.
You guys are
Crazy.
rough tonight.
Yeah, love it.
Woo.
So yeah, I mean, I don't think it necessarily does anything for the Giants standings wise, but still, it does help shore up your defense without having to go out and get a better defender, because Washington will make them exponentially better if they show up for infield practice.
Yeah,
Rafael
right.
Devers.
The only thing that's going to hurt the only thing that would hurt that team defense is 162 games of Rafael Devers. Otherwise, that's a good team defense. Washington will make it better.
Yep.
Nothing. No, you can't lose here.
No, absolutely not. All right, Devin Williams heading to the Queens on a 3-year deal. Is he a security blanket in case Diaz doesn't re-sign?
100%. I mean, then the Mets have even cleared the air with him that if Diaz comes back, you're not the closer. To which Devin Williams responded, basically, "I'm fine pitching as a setup guy. I know what I'm signing up for." So he is absolutely the plan B, and he knows it, and he's accepted that role. But they're going to pay him pretty well to potentially just be a setup guy if Diaz comes back. A lot of people don't think Diaz is coming back. I think the Mets still believe they can make a run to bring him back, but I think the baseball world believes he'll move on. But at the same time, Devin Williams, I can't imagine he'll be as bad as he was last year, but that's I don't feel a lot of comfort going into the season with him as my closer, given what you just saw.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. I don't necessarily like this signing for the Mets. I don't. You look at him last year, he's not the same guy that he was in Milwaukee. Does he still have some? Can he still figure it out? Yes. I mean, Devin Williams still has one of the best changeups in the league, but somebody's got to go in there and figure him out, because he lost it when he got to New York, and I'm not confident he finds it again when he gets to the Mets. But hey, we'll see. I don't know.
I think the only thing that helps Devin Williams is a lot of his struggle at Yankee Stadium was home runs to right field. That changeup would stay up a little bit, and that fly ball would get out. They won't get out at Citi Field. You're hoping
True.
Soto catches that at the warning track, but I think it's probably a better place for him. And I still think he's still got stuff that gets people out. I think he ran into some difficulties in New York. And again, New York we've seen it before. We've seen great pitchers go to New York and struggle. Like it's different pitching in New York. The attention, the fans, the media, the ballpark, like there's a lot of factors that play into that. And New York's just not an easy place to play.
No, not at all. Alek Manoah signs with the Angels. Is this desperation or lack of free agent availability for the Angels, or yes?
I mean, I think it's both. I think it's three things. I think it's a little bit of desperation for the Angels. Like they're going to look they need arms. They need a bunch of them. So just bring us as many as we can get. I think the lack of free agents for them, because they're not going to be able to sign some of these guys to bigger contracts. Realistically, it's just not and they're not going to be able to attract them. So they kind of realize that, as thinking that you're going to go and sign a Ranger Suarez unless you throw a massive bag at him is just not going to happen. Thirdly, there are many teams in baseball who believe Alek Manoah can be rehabilitated and turned back into Alek Manoah. And because of how much talent and success he had early in his career, teams will keep taking a chance on him until he proves he really can't come back. And I think this is a reclamation project. And I think the Angels feel like if they get it right, it'll be the steal of the offseason.
Yeah. I agree with you that if it does work out, it would be the steal of the offseason, no doubt. But it is, I'm with you, Curtis, 1,000%. This is a guaranteed flyer on a guy. It's just a flyer. It is, if it works, it works. If not, we DFA him by the second week of May. I mean, that's it. I just think the Angels are desperate. Depending on what happens with this Rendon contract, if he gets bought out, we still don't kind of know what the status of that is. But
Nope.
Angels won't have money to spend in the free agent market until that's gone. This reeks of desperation to me because no one's going to the Angels in free agency being like, "Hey, do you have an offer for me or what? Like, I know you guys need pitching, but do you have an offer?" The Angels are like, "No, like we don't. I mean, we do, but it's for 25 cents on the dollar."
Yeah, we just can't swing. I mean, and Artie Moreno's got money, and he's put money into this team. It's just really hard when you've got $38 million being tied up by a guy who's never seen the field. It makes it hard to construct a roster. You got between Trout and Rendon, you got what, $79 million tied up
Yeah.
on Trout, who's a 3/4 season player, Rendon, who never shows up. Like, that's rough.
Yeah. I agree. So I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I don't know. If he goes to Anaheim, not a lot of pressure, kind of a hidden franchise, hidden team over there in the AL West. Maybe he'll be all right. I don't know. I wouldn't put a lot of eggs in that basket.
No, I don't expect this to turn into anything. And this is the Angels going to Vegas and putting it all. They walked up to a poker table and just put $1.25 million down the table and said, "Just throw me some cards. We'll see what happens."
Yeah.
It's a total flyer. If it works out, again, steal the offseason. But I think for Alek Manoah, this is a great situation for him because this is a team that will probably let him pitch. And even if he's not great, like, they're going to give him some time because he's cheap. And maybe that's what he needs. Maybe he needs a couple of months to make some consistent starts to get back into some kind of a rhythm and find it. I don't know how you fix Alek Manoah, but it's hard to believe he went from the guy who damn near won a Cy Young to a guy who can't get anybody out. And literally overnight, like, there has to be something that can be fixed there.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Cedric Mullins to the Rays, 1-year deal. Is this a good veteran for a young Rays team?
I think it's a great move for the Rays. And we talked about Mullins during the free agent show. Like, if he goes anywhere, it's going to be probably to one of these mid-tier teams that need a veteran. A guy who can move around the outfield, a guy who can do some things. I think it's a low risk, high reward move for the Rays. If Mullins can reignite what he had done prior, this is a slam dunk home run of a deal. If he doesn't, he's a really good depth piece for not a ton of money. So I don't think you can go wrong. And a great clubhouse guy.
Yeah, I've always loved Cedric Mullins. I love his game. He has fallen off a little bit the last couple of years. That's why you saw the Orioles kind of move on from him. He was also quote unquote old at 31. But yeah, I don't hate this for the Rays. Does it make them incredibly better? No. But like you said, it's depth. It's young guys being able to learn from somebody that has been in the bigs for 10 years, that has been on some big stages in the WBC, that can take some of his expertise and rub off on some guys. And hell, Junior Caminero doesn't need any more help. The dude's already a beast, but Cedric Mullins might help this kid. It's just, he's one of those type of players. Like you said, great clubhouse guy, and he will rub off on the young kids in Tampa. Yeah,
he's a total character guy and a good leader. He was a big piece of what the Orioles were doing until his production kind of fell off. I think it's a good move. It's a low risk, high reward move here. I love to see Mullins stick around. I don't necessarily love seeing him in the AL East anymore because he always had big games against the Red Sox, but I think it's a good move. We'll see what happens.
Yep. Miguel Rojas re-signs his deal with the Dodgers. Duh. Because why wouldn't you?
He's a lifer out there. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Carl, you're welcome, bud. Yeah, it was I'm still kind of floating here. Yeah, it was really awesome. But yeah, thanks for stopping by, Carl. Appreciate it.
Mullins is a boss. I don't care what anyone says.
Yep.
We saw him hit the cycle against the Pirates. We were at that game.
That was sick.
That was nuts.
It was crazy. Is the lady behind us calls it the pitch before it happens,
and they were Pirates fans.
Yeah, Pirates fans. She goes, She just goes, "Yep, Mullins just needs a homer for the cycle." And here comes the pitch. Crack! There it goes over the right field wall. And we're like, well, all right then.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
But yeah, this is a no-brainer for the Dodgers. This dude literally can play anywhere. He pitches. He can play the outfield if he needs to. Plays everywhere in the infield. I mean,
Hits big home runs in the World Series.
I mean, that was, sort of big. It wasn't
Yeah.
that big. It only
No.
tied the game in the 9th in Game 7. Like, what's so big about that?
Yeah. No big deal. Just
Yeah.
any other at bat.
Yeah. But yeah, and John Temple, Dave Roberts guy,
yeah.
1,000%. Yeah, this is for sure. But I mean, no brainer signing for the Dodgers. And like you said, he's probably there the rest of his career.
Yep.
So, yep. Emilio Pagan, 2-year deal with the Reds. Are we believing the Reds are legit contenders next year?
I mean, yes, I do. I mean, they made the playoffs this year ahead of schedule. We knew when they brought Tito in, they were going to try to bring this young core together and make them play as a team. You know, they've made some moves like this that have kind of quietly added some depth to that team. I don't think they're done. There's a lot of rumors out there that they are very much in on some of the other free agents. I think, yes, I think the Reds see the fact they've got a window here with an affordable team and a ton of young talent that if you put a few pieces around it could be dangerous. And I think getting to the playoffs last year was kind of that taste they needed to realize, okay, we're not as far off as we think.
Yeah. I mean, Emilio Pagan himself does not put them over the hump, but like you said, I think it does add some depth to them, and they are not done. They will find another piece or two that will partner well with what they got as a base there. And like you said, having Tito on the bench only helps you. In no way, shape, or form does having Tito Francona sitting on your bench do anything bad for the Reds. So, yeah, and Ryan, I'm with you. I think the Reds are legit going to go for it, and I think they should. And Jeff, we're with you. We like the Reds too.
Yeah,
they are a fun team to watch.
Love watching them. So much young talent.
Yeah. So I think we're with you. And Mike, 1,000%, they need a Kyle Schwarber, and all indications are that's the big bat that they're seeking.
Yep.
You put a Kyle Schwarber who's got the on base, and he might have another 50 burger in Cincinnati. That's a fun ballpark for a lefty to hit in.
The ball flies there pretty well.
Yeah. So I mean,
in Pagan, this is the guy with 30 plus saves and an ERA under 3 last year. Like, he was really, really good.
Yeah.
And just protects the back end of that bullpen. But I think the Reds, yes. I think we should be taking the Reds seriously.
I do too. So I mean, we'll see. But this might just be the first shoe to drop there in Cincinnati. So we'll see.
Certainly something to watch.
Yeah. All right. Before Brian has a conniption here, he says Yanks deal for major starter have a lot of young pitchers. Do you see the Yankees making a trade in the offseason, or you think they're going to just say the heck with it? We're going to blow the $300 million cap that we initially put off and just sign somebody.
I mean, I think if the Yankees make a trade for a pitcher, it's probably for Alcantara in Miami. They've been connected to them. But the hard part is the Yankees kind of have a full rotation. They just won't be at full health until the middle of the season. So, Cole comes back, Rodon comes back, Schmidt comes back. You still have Heel. You've got Schlittler, who apparently is learning new pitches in the offseason. Like, I think you've already got a rotation intact. I don't think you need another arm. Probably some relief help because the bullpen was a disaster, but maybe not a starter. I mean, maybe a rental because you've got everybody coming back. You just need to get through the first few months of the season, and then you're going to be where you thought you'd be.
The only starter that I think I could see possibly end up in New York, since they already have that relationship with the Brewers in that Caleb Durbin, Devin Williams trade, could be Freddie Peralta. Now, we're unclear on what the Brewers want to do with Peralta. It's
Is he actually available?
Yeah, it's like, here, you can have him. No, never mind. Okay, yes. No. Okay, no, never mind. So I don't know if Peralta gets moved. Now, I could see him going into that rotation and bumping a Clark Schmidt to the bullpen or something of that nature when everybody comes back. But if you want to take a commanding lead or at least stay at the top of the division and not slip too far back until these guys come up, you want a solid starter in there. Because if you are missing Cole, you are missing Rodon, you are missing Schmidt for the first month and a half, Yankees could be trying to be digging themselves out of a big hole early if they don't have somebody there to plug that hole.
Yeah, and I completely forgot to mention Max Fried. You know, you got Max
Right.
Fried. So you're going to start the year with Fried, Heel, Schlittler, you know, and a couple of people to be named later. And then all of a sudden you've got Cole back in May, you've got Rodon coming back in, you know, late May, early June. You got Schmidt. Like all of a sudden you've got too many guys.
Yeah.
I could see them making a move for like an Alcantara or maybe a Peralta who's cheap. You know, he's an $8 million guy.
Right. Yeah.
Just to fill it out.
Like a Swiss Army knife type of guy, a starter and relief guy. You know, hey, we need you to start the first 8 weeks of the season, and then we're moving you to long relief or setup or wherever we need you in the bullpen. I could see that.
Yeah, we're gonna Marcus Stroman you and move you to the bullpen and have you hate it because really in that case where you're gonna have all these guys come back with no seats, you know, getting a Peralta or getting an Alcantara even makes no sense because you're not gonna move those guys to the bullpen. That means you're pushing Heel and Schlittler out, and it seems like they want Heel and Schlittler to be part of that rotation. So
yeah,
the Yankees are in an odd spot. They've got all the right pieces. They're just not all available right now.
Yeah. John, you really want to get rid of Luis Castillo?
I know,
huh, John?
geez, every week you got a new trade proposal where Castillo leaves Seattle.
Yeah, I mean, possibly. I think at some point Castillo could get moved. I know his name was. He is expensive, but his name was thrown around a little bit at this deadline. So I mean, I could see that. Ryan Gallen hasn't landed yet. You could see him in pinstripes. I mean, I could see that too. I think ultimately, I think he ends up in Baltimore now. They're going to need.
I thought Cease would be the guy to go to Baltimore, but I think that he might be the guy.
Yeah, I think you could see both Kelly and Gallen possibly reuniting in Baltimore because I don't think their markets are going to be that great. Gallen's not coming off a great season.
No, and that would be an Orioles move to go get the cheaper guy and see what happens.
This is Flat Cheese. This is a great point because this is also the other wild card in this entire free agency. We got 6 or 7 Japanese guys and KBO combination of the two coming over in free agency. Like they've been posted, right? So we're seeing a huge influx of Asian ball players coming into the MLB next year.
Look,
does that mess with the free agent market at all and spots on teams for guys?
I think it does, man. And every day it seems like there's a new guy being posted or signing a contract. And it's like, didn't even realize he was out there. It's been weird this offseason because you have like this massive influx of Japanese players kind of all of a sudden this season.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the big names, obviously Murakami coming over, the pitcher, I can't remember his name. But there's 3 or 4 pitchers, there's 3 or 4 position players. So they're coming over. That's crazy.
Yeah, and you've got some guys that are coming back over, like the White Sox just signed Anthony Kay, who just came back from Japan.
That's right.
Like you've got all these guys. The MVP of the KBO last year, I can't remember his name, former major leaguer who's coming back, got signed. There's just so many of these guys that are out there that I think it completely changes the market because the free agents we expected to be talking about have now, you know, almost doubled with all these Japanese players.
Yeah. So still a long ways to go. Next week, winter meetings, I believe. That's when news is going to start flying here. So, can't wait for that. But all right, we ready for some trivia, Harrison?
Oh, sorry. It was the Blue Jays side signed the KBO MVP Ponce to a 3-year
that's what
deal.
it was. That's why.
Yeah, another Blue Jays signing of a pitcher,
Yep.
Cody Ponce to a 3-year deal. Who was a 2015 second round pick of the Brewers, who went overseas, won the KBO MVP, and he's coming back to Major League Baseball. Like, not even a name that I think any of us knew was out there.
Right.
All of a sudden signs.
Yep. Crazy. All right. We ready for some trivia?
Let's do it.
All right. I got kind of a couple newish ones. I started doing it last week, but you will see how it goes. So here's the first one. Which player doesn't fit? Which player out of these 5 never achieved a 40 home run and a 350 batting average season? Babe Ruth, Larry Walker, Chuck Klein, Hank Aaron, Rogers Hornsby.
Wow. That is a very specific stat line, a 350 season.
Yep. So 350 batting average with 40 or more homers. Which one never achieved that?
Oof. Okay. Babe Ruth had to have. Larry Walker seems like he definitely did, especially because of the average. Hornsby average wise always would have, but 40 home runs. That is a tough one. I mean, chat's lighting up. What does chat have it?
Chat does have it. It is Hank Aaron for sure. Yeah. 39 home runs and 355 was the high. So he got to 350, but never got to the 40 home runs when he hit above 350. So
wow.
Pretty crazy. Yep. So it is Hank Aaron for sure.
No, good work, chat. That was a tough one because those guys all could qualify.
Yeah, some of these are tough. So here we go. Which player out of these 5 never achieved a 20 home run, 50 stolen base season? Jose Reyes, Ricky Henderson, Eric Davis, Joe Morgan, Ellie De La Cruz.
Ooh. So, I mean, I know Ricky did. I know Eric Davis did, probably more than once. I know Ellie did just a couple seasons ago. Oh, boy.
We're splitting the chat.
Yeah.
This is kind of where Harrison is. Harrison's split between these two guys.
I feel like Joe Morgan had to have.
Yeah. Belly de la food.
To me, it's either Jose Reyes or Joe Morgan. I'll take Reyes. But
well, Harrison. Well, you are absolutely correct.
Wow.
So when Jose Reyes stole over 50, he had 64, but only hit 19 home runs that season. So just missed it in 2006. So
by a hair.
Yep, for sure.
Ooh.
All right. Which player out of these 5 has 3,000 career hits, but not a 300 career average? Pete Rose, George Brett, Willie Mays, Albert Pujols, Hank Aaron.
I actually know the answer to this one because I drafted him on my all-time team, and I remember looking at his stats going, oh, I didn't realize he didn't hit 300. Mm-hmm. Like, I just assumed he had a better than 300 career average. So I do actually know the answer to this one, so I won't answer until chat does.
All right.
I was a little surprised.
Yep. All right, so we got George Brett, we got Hank Aaron, we got Pujols. So the answer is Harrison. Who?
It's Big Al.
It is indeed Big Al. Yes, 296.
Just misses
career average. So Jeff got it. Nice job. Carl got it. Of course, Carl got it. Wait, I thought you were putting the kids to bed, Carl.
Yeah, so he's back.
Thanks. Yeah, love it. Love it.
It's funny
yeah.
because if you told me like tell me what Albert Pujols' career batting average is, I would have guessed like 305, 307, not 296.
Scours.
Michael.
Don't quit, Joseph. You're fine. You're fine.
No, come on, get back here.
You can't.
Yeah, Carl.
Yeah, I'm back. Good, love it. All right, next one. Which player out of these 5 has at least 240 innings pitched, but has less strikeouts than innings pitched in that season? David Price, David Cohn, Johnny Cueto, Justin Verlander, or Randy Johnson?
Wow. So somebody that pitched 240 innings that struck out less than 240 guys.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Probably could have worded it that way. That sounds a lot better than how I worded it.
I mean, my gut reaction goes with Jeff to say probably Cone. I mean, David Price, Verlander, and Johnson to me feel like guys that would be locks to have more than 240.
Instantly stumped.
Yeah, I feel like it's Cone or Cueto. I mean, Cueto was a big strikeout guy too. Cone was not as big a strikeout guy. I don't know. My gut would say it's probably Cone.
Okay, let's go to the chat. It is, we got Carl's got Cueto, we got Randy, we got instantly stumped, we got Cueto, and then we got Ryan's got Cueto, and Curtis has got Johnny Cueto.
Brian just doesn't like Cueto.
Yeah. It is indeed Johnny Cueto, and it's by 1. He had 242 Ks and 243 innings pitched. Everybody else was over 240 Ks the seasons that they threw at least 240 innings. So pretty cool.
That's wild. I mean, Randy Johnson would pitch 250 innings and strike out 300 and something guys, so it didn't really matter.
Yeah, I thought he was kind of like an easy one I could just throw in there, and I didn't have to think about it 1 o'clock last night when I was finishing these off. So
that's a good idea.
Yeah. All right. These next ones are, I give you the stat line, and you have to tell me who the player is. And I do give you multiple choice, so you're welcome.
Okay.
Who matches this career stat line? 324 and 256 win-loss record, 3.26 ERA, 5,282 and 1/3 innings pitched, 1,343 walks, 21,631 batters faced. And you can choose between Gaylord Perry, Greg Maddux, Burt Blyleven, Don Sutton, or Nolan Ryan.
Well, pretty sure Maddux had more wins than that. Nolan Ryan had basically like a 500 win-loss record, so it's not Nolan. My first reaction was Blyleven when I saw the question. I think Gaylord Perry had more wins than that. So I'm down to Blyleven and Sutton. I honestly don't know what Sutton's career line would look like. I just don't know him well enough of the group, so I'm going to say Blyleven here.
All right, so Harrison's got Blyleven. We're mixed in the chat again. We got Don Sutton for Joseph. We got Gaylord for Jeff. Sutton for Michael. Blyleven with Ryan. Sutton for Carl. Flat Cheese says Sutton. Maddux was at 355, so we can take him out. Nice job, Michael. And then John Temple's at Gaylord Perry. Carl says Blyleven didn't have 300.
That was a trivia question before too.
So the answer is indeed Don Sutton. Don Sutton. So nice job. Captain, I'm going with Sutton because Michael said so.
Yeah.
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 Don Sutton.
Blyleven did not get to 300. We had
Yeah.
that was actually a trivia question not that long ago.
Yeah. All right. I got two more for you. Who matches this career stat line? 224 career average, 165 career hits, 15 home runs, 60 RBIs, 80 runs scored. We have Keila Kaiui, Luis Matos, Owen Miller, Torey Lavello, or Carlos Narvaez.
Wow, this is brutal.
Yeah, I went the complete opposite stat lines here. Like, not a great one.
So strictly because of the background color.
Yes, which gives it away. If people pay attention to my Easter egg clues, I tend to put the answer colors in the slide. But
Yeah.
somehow
So based
people
solely
on
on
our
that, I'm making a pick.
yeah. So it's funny because there's maybe like 2 followers that answer our trivia questions that understand that I do that on every single one.
Yeah.
So
Flat cheese. Haven't heard any of these dudes. You're not alone. I mean, a lot of us. There's a couple names on this list. I'm like, I don't remember that guy at all.
And I'm pretty
I'm not even
sure
sure he's real.
I'm pretty sure I botched Keila Kayahui's last name or first name or all of it. It's like Keila Kayahui.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not really an Easter egg it's not secret either if I'm telling you about it, I guess. But yeah, the background colors always match the answer. So yes, Lavello is the Arizona manager, flat cheese. But it is indeed everybody in here guessed it. It is Torey Lavello. So, and in his Bison's jersey, because as you can tell by that career stat line, there's not many pictures of him in a major league uniform. So
No, there are not.
Yeah. So
born by Mount Wanahakalugi.
Yeah. All right, here is the last one. Who matches this career stat line? 244 career average, 1,455 career hits, 319 home runs, 951 RBIs, 312 doubles, 839 runs scored. And here are your choices: Prince Fielder, Cecil Fielder, Jay Bruce, Troy Gloss, Vinny Castilla.
Wow.
And the reason I put 319 home runs in here, because 4 of these guys have 319 career home runs.
I was gonna say, I feel like these guys are like all right around that number. You couldn't give us like stolen bases to rule out the fielders.
No, there's no. I no.
Okay. I mean, I don't think it's the fielders. I don't think it's Vinny. And now I'm down to Jay Bruce and Troy Gloss. Troy Gloss was about their career hit average wise, but I feel like he would have had more hits. If you gave me strikeouts, I'd probably be able to tell you, but because that would help me figure out if it's Jay Bruce or somebody else. But I'll take Jay Bruce. Just process elimination. I'll go Jay Bruce.
All right, Harrison's going Jay Bruce. Joseph is going Jay Bruce. Carl is going Cecil Fielder. Yes, him and Prince both have exactly 319 career homers, which is crazy. Can I get a word origin? Fielder Sr. Mike Reed thinks it's Gloss. Flat Cheese says it has to be Bartolo Colon. Carter's going Gloss. Flat Cheese is going Bruce. Yeah, and Ryan's backing us up with Prince and Cecil had the same exact number of dingers. Harrison, you are absolutely correct. It is indeed Jay Bruce. So Jay Bruce was the answer for sure.
Wow.
So it is. So I did get tricky on this one because colors, right? Cecil Fielder's in a Yankees uniform. However, Jay Bruce also spent time with the Yankees. So I got a little bit tricky with that one. So it is indeed Jay Bruce. So nice job. See, Joseph, see what happens when you don't give up? Perseverance, buddy. Yeah. I am going to be honest with you guys. I did not put Jamie Moyer in the show today. I was slacking on that front. Had a lot going on this week with one of our posts being stolen, trying to get Trachsel on the show. I completely missed it. So Moyer actually wasn't in the show this week. But I will make up for it next week. Maybe I'll put him in twice just for you guys. He was in a Cincinnati Reds jersey there because that's where I remember Jay Bruce from mostly. This one, he's actually with the Brewers, or I think he's with the Mariners in this picture. I know, guys. I know I was slacking on the Jamie Moyer add-in this week. I'm really sorry, but yeah. So we got the whole post thing straightened out with Facebook, so we're good with that. But it was a big week for rounding third baseball this week. Trying to get Trachsel on the show, which I'm still floating. That was absolutely incredible to talk with him about his career and those big moments in his career.
Crazy. It's just crazy to think like 4 years ago we were talking to nobody, and now we're talking to Steve Trachsel, and it's
yeah, really, really cool. So absolutely loved it. Yeah. All right. Excuses. I know, John. I'm sorry. I'm slacking. You can dock my pay.
There'll be a little extra nothing in your check, Nick.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. But that's all I had for tonight. Harrison, do you have anything to add? Chat, this is your time to bring it up, and Harrison will bring up the chat so everybody can see what everyone's talking about. And do you guys have anything to add or talk about while Harrison's pulling up some oddball?
So while chat's thinking about what they want to talk about, I got a couple things to put out there real quick. First of all, we had Dave Roberts, who was it was a TV appearance. I'm not sure where it was. He doesn't believe the record spending is ruining baseball, but he actually thinks the idea of a salary cap and a salary floor are not a bad idea for the game to try to better level the playing field. So although he doesn't think what the Dodgers are doing is a problem, he does think that a cap and a floor would make sense given where baseball's at. He didn't necessarily say he would support it, but he just said that it would make sense. And he thinks that some other leagues have done a really nice job, like the NBA, handling revenue sharing, with players and owners to help the players not feel the impact of a cap. But he basically, without saying it, he basically said that a cap and a floor would make sense, and he could see why that would be something they're pushing for.
So this might be an unpopular opinion. I think this might be him backpedaling from the comments he made earlier.
Yeah.
Right. I think the dust has settled in the season. He's looking back on that and he's like, maybe I shouldn't have said that with, the current landscape of MLB. Right.
Yeah.
So now he's kind of like fallen back into line, if you will, and being like, maybe I should just toe the line and say what everybody else is saying until this lockout is over. Maybe he feels that way. Maybe he doesn't. We don't know. But and Ryan, this is exactly what I'm getting at. Dave Roberts is now a politician. Got it. And that's,
you got to think about it from Dave Roberts' perspective. He has two major categories of people he deals with: players who are going to hate this comment, ownership who's going to love this comment. How does he walk into a clubhouse next year after saying he supports a salary cap, look his players in the face saying, I really care about you guys? Like, this is a weird spot for him to be in. He basically kind of made a joke out of the spending and the fact they were doing it, and then now he's basically saying he would support effectively a salary cap, which is going to piss his players off. It's a weird stance to take, kind of out of the blue. But okay.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I get it, but I think I'm with Ryan. I think he's trying to just play politician at this point.
Yeah, I mean, he's trying to. I mean, which is funny because his ownership group doesn't believe in a salary cap. His players don't believe in a salary cap. He might be the only guy in that whole organization that believes in a salary cap. But he's taking that stance to maybe appease somebody. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what he hopes to get out of it, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Other Dodgers news. So as of yesterday, the Dodgers have floated the fact that Teoscar Hernandez could be available via trade. They're looking to revamp their outfield, which highly underperformed last year.
And bring in Kyle Tucker.
Well, yeah, I mean, yep. They're going to try to bring in Kyle Tucker. Teoscar was ranked 33rd out of 36 players last season and outs above average, -9. He was one of the worst right fielders in baseball. Offensively, he wasn't great either. They would be willing to move on from him for the right deal because they view that outfield as one of their weaknesses, which honestly, if not for Pages' breakout season, you would Conforto, who was a black hole, and Teoscar, who was wildly inconsistent. Their outfield wasn't good.
No.
So don't blame them for wanting to explore options because that was a major weak spot for them.
Yeah. Jeff, I hate to bring this up because I don't want my boy to leave Arizona. I haven't heard this, but I mean, we've heard Ketel Marte's name thrown around in trade talks, but Ketel Marte to the Tigers? What would the Tigers have to give up for him?
I don't know. I mean, what I read last was the Reds and Red Sox were in conversation with the D-backs about what the asking price was. I've not seen the Tigers, but my guess is it's going to be. You're probably talking about Kevin McGonigal, who is their top prospect, who's expected to make the Major League roster this year. McGonigal probably goes. I saw McGonigal play in Portland last year against the Sea Dogs. Dude is so good. He is so good. And there's another top prospect in Double A with him, and I'm blanking on his name, plays center field. You're probably looking at moving a couple of your top prospects. I cannot think of his name to save my life now. I saw him play too. He was fantastic.
Oh my God. And he's a beast too. I forget.
Monster. But you're probably looking at moving a couple of your top prospects to get Ketel Marte, which I think the Diamondbacks would love. Because McGonigal just tore apart the Arizona Fall League and looks ready to play.
Yeah, McGonigal and God, that's gonna kill me.
I'll find it. I'll remember his name when I see it. Max Clark.
Thank you. Yep, Max Clark. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so McGonigal and Max Clark were both at Double A last year. I saw them both play. They're incredible. McGonigal just tore the Arizona Fall League apart.
Yep. John Carter's got it. Of course he does. And Joseph's got it. Yeah.
Yeah. The expectation is McGonigal makes that Tigers team next year. Max Clark is probably one more year away. And then they have a catcher, Briseño down at Double A also, who's a beast, first baseman catcher, a big dude, 6'4", who would probably be another player that would be in that conversation. They wouldn't probably get all three, but my guess is they would take two of them.
Which team has the best chance to land Ketel Marte?
I don't know. I don't even know how seriously him moving is. But if I had to pick a team, I mean, the Tigers make no sense unless you're going to move somebody to third base. You just gave Gleyber Torres a qualifying offer. He's staying. I don't think you're going to move Ketel Marte to third. I mean, maybe you move Torres to third. I don't know. I just don't know that he's a great fit in Detroit. That would be just an awesome move for the Reds to make. And they are rumored to be deep in conversations. I'm not so sure that happens. Red Sox, same way. You have to give up a lot for him. I still don't feel like Marte moves. I just don't think he goes anywhere. I think it's going to be too hard to pull that deal off.
I'm with you. I think, and this is just because I know how deep the Red Sox farm system is, but they also have major league ready talent that could go to Arizona. Now, again, I don't want Ketel Marte to move from Arizona, but if the Red Sox send back Jarren Duran, which plugs your left field hole because Lourdes Gurriel is on the shelf with a torn ACL, you send back Connolly Early or Peyton Tolley, that solves some of the starting pitching issues that the Diamondbacks have right now with Corbin Burns on the shelf, losing Gallen and Kelly, perhaps. I think the Red Sox have more major league ready talent plus prospects as well to go. And thank you, Chaim Bloom. I think, and they do have a connection with Mike Hazen, if I remember right.
They do. Hazen was in the Red Sox front office for a few years.
So there's that question too. I mean, that connection too. So I would hate it. I would love it if he was a Boston Red Sox, but I would hate it for my Arizona Diamondbacks. But like I said a couple shows ago, I don't know which way the Diamondbacks are going to go. Are they going to sell? Are they going to get a couple pieces to be in somewhat contention? At this point, I think they're in sell mode. They don't have any pitching. It's all hurt. All of it. Or it's gone on free agency. You got Brandon Pfaadt. That's it. And Ryan Nelson. Ryan Nelson and Brandon Pfaadt is your rotation right now as we speak. That's it. 2 guys. What are you going to do with that?
Yeah, I feel like the Diamondbacks are putting Marte out there because if they can get a trade that makes sense, that brings them back a haul of prospects, then I think they go into sell mode. If they can't, then I think they may pull him back and explore trying to build around him. I think that's, I'm reading real quickly about the Marte to Detroit, and the belief is that McGonigal, Clark, and Briseño would absolutely be probably the package. And a lot of the general consensus is we don't know where to put him. He could play the outfield, sure, but it seems like a waste of where he's good. Then you got to figure out what to do with Javi Baez. You can't trade that contract. You're stuck with Javi Baez. You got McGonigal, who would be coming up as your shortstop. Now you got no shortstop. You're going to have to fill that hole here shortly. So like the feeling is generally kind of from the Tigers blogs is cool, but probably not the right move for us to make because it's going to create other holes that we don't have solutions for. And you're stuck with Gleyber Torres for $22 million and another year of Javi Baez, and you're not going to put him back at shortstop because you just lost your shortstop.
Yeah.
Like the general consensus is this is not a good idea. We'll see. Yeah, I think I think the Brendan Donovan rumors are interesting too, because I think Donovan's a guy who'd be in high demand across the league as well. He's not Ketel Marte. He's kind of like, the second rung, but he's good. The dude can absolutely hit.
Yeah. Donovan to the Yankees. I mean, or I like how you spelt it, to the Tankies.
I like that better.
Yeah. I could see it. I could. I mean,
where does that leave you with Jazz and Ryan McMahon? You going to try to spin one of those guys out? You going to move Jazz back to the outfield?
I mean, they were thinking about it anyways, right?
Yeah, I mean, maybe. And if the Bellinger thing doesn't work, maybe he becomes one of your outfield options and you backfill second base. You got Dominguez you're not sure about, Spencer Jones that might be ready, but he's also in trade talks. There's a lot of moving parts right now. And I think it's going to take one of these moves finally happen for some of the stuff to get figured out.
Yeah. And Cap, and I agree. Donovan's one of those guys that could fit in almost any lineup. Agree.
I really want to see him end up in Kansas City. That he would be one of the major missing pieces there.
Yep. But yeah, interesting. Jazz is better in the outfield. Yeah.
I mean, yes. Defensively, yes. But the production you get from him at second base is not normal. So if you can get away with him at second base, that production is not common for that position.
Yeah, maybe Donovan for Jazz straight up. Would the Cardinals even want to have Jazz Chisholm? I don't know. You got to think about that too. Like, do the Cardinals even want to deal with Chisholm's antics?
If I'm Chaim Bloom, the last thing I want to do is bring in an expensive veteran that's going to make a bunch of noise. I'm good. I don't want him. You can keep him. You can have Donovan for a bunch of prospects, but don't give me Jazz Chisholm.
Yeah, that's fair.
Jazz is better live in a dive bar. Yes, John, you are correct. And
Oh my
Curtis, I
God.
agree. McMahon, defensively, McMahon is one of the best third basemen out there. He needs to stay. That's been such a black hole for them for so long.
Yeah, they guys.
Volpe and a peanut
Volpe and
butter
a peanut butter sandwich.
That's a great trade, Curtis. I love
I'll
it.
take the peanut butter sandwich. You can keep Volpe.
Yeah, exactly. Just the PB&J. That's it.
Yeah, man.
Actually,
That's
even, it's just peanut butter. There's not even any jelly on it. I'd still take it over Volpe.
Yep, 1,000%. Man, incredible.
Well, and Ryan, I'm with you. I feel like Donovan's one of those guys you could build around, and I think him leaving St. Louis would be disappointing, but Chaim Bloom's going to want to go in there and blow it up and rebuild it in his way. So Donovan could bring back a nice package of pieces to get that started.
But also keeping them relevant. Maybe Donovan
Yeah.
is part of that to keep them relevant and
Could be. That would make sense.
build around him, because he is going to be an easier piece to move down the road. If he stays consistent, stays healthy, and you start building around him, like, you can replace that later down the road when you've built up the rest of your team. You know that he's going to be a constant. So,
Yes.
I mean, I'm kind of with you, Ryan. I mean, I think he could be a nice, I wouldn't say cornerstone, maybe centerpiece to kind of build around for now, and then you could always move him out later when you're done with him. I don't know. It's interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how Bloom decides to retool this Cardinals team. We know it's coming, but it's going to be interesting to see how he does it.
Yeah, and Donovan's not a free agent until 2028, so you still got 2 more years of control, 26 and 27 through arbitration. So he's a guy that's going to remain relatively inexpensive compared to what he would get on the market. Yeah, it's not a bad guy to hang on to, but at the end of the day, like, this is probably the best time to trade him. With 2 years of control, you'll get a better package in return.
Yeah.
But it also kind of really just guts the team in a big way.
Yeah. But yeah. Do we have anything else in the chat here? I don't know if we see anything
That's
else.
an interesting point, Curtis. I mean, Jazz, batting average would be nice to see that come up. Otherwise, I mean, I don't like Jazz. I don't like Jazz Chisholm because of his attitude and the way he plays the game. But when you look at his game, I mean, he was a 30-30 guy last year. Batting average isn't great. He reminds me like Curtis Granderson. Like that, he's like that kind of player. Like you kind of watch him play and just go, he doesn't excite me. They look at the numbers and go, well, damn, like those are
Right.
pretty good numbers. He does a lot of stuff that you just kind of don't. I don't know. You just kind of get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
But he's a good ball player, and for the value you're getting at second base with those offensive stats is not something you see across the league.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, I mean, we didn't even realize he was going for like 30-30 until it happened. And we're like, well, damn. Nope, all right.
We were all like, wait, what?
Because he missed a chunk of time too, didn't he? He missed a week or two with injury.
Yeah, for something.
So, yeah. I don't know. He's an interesting one because I don't know how he's viewed by other teams around the league. So, interesting. But
I feel like the general consensus around Jazz is, good player, but kind of a pain. I don't know.
Fair.
I think he's one of those guys who brings a bit of a circus and a me first attitude that doesn't necessarily work for everybody.
Yeah.
Although I will say, in his defense, I do feel like he has mellowed a little bit in New York, and I think being in New York, being around some veterans, I'm sure Aaron Judge has something to say to that. I think that's helped him be more focused.
Yeah. Thank you, Joseph, for the support. I mean, you guys have been awesome this week for helping me deal with that too. So appreciate that. But yeah.
Jesus, John, do you not like my comparison of Jazz and Curtis Granderson? Wow.
I mean, yeah. Anyways.
I'm not that far off though. Statistically, I mean, Curtis Granderson was a low batting average guy that hit some home runs, stole some bases. Like, I'm not saying they're the same player, but they weren't that far off.
Yeah. Machado light.
Machado light. I mean, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. John Temple comment of the
night.
night.
Carl, do not encourage him.
Yeah, that's epic. Yeah, everyone's got a comment of the night right there. So, man.
Jeez. I mean, it's a great comment.
Yeah.
I stand by my comparison.
Yeah. So, yeah, man. And we are not reading that comment over the
no.
That is for sure. But it was a great one.
Go on Facebook and read the chat. But we can't put that on screen or read it.
Yeah. Yanks bring back Michael King for the bullpen. I think Michael King's gonna want to be paid like a starter. He's not going to want to be paid as a reliever.
Well, and after what he's what we've seen from him on the mound as a starter, I don't think he wants to go back to being a bullpen guy. I think he's proven he can start at this level.
Right. I
mean, the guy was 13-9 with a 2.95 ERA last year, and then obviously missed time this year, but he's 5-3 with a 3.44. And he's proven that he can be a major league starter.
Yeah, exactly.
I would not want to go back to the bullpen after that.
Yeah. So
I think if a team calls him and says, "Hey, you want to go to join our bullpen?" He's going to go click. Nope.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess I'll bring it up right now. So this week we had one of our posts that honestly a follower, like, because you guys send me ideas for posts and all of this stuff, and I put it together. I give you credit. I put our emblem in the corner, and that's that, right? So another baseball page, I can't remember the name of it, but
MLB Legends Vault.
That's what it was. So if you're following them, unfollow them. They took our exact post, took a picture of it. They changed the color of the font on Yadi Molina's name, erased our logo, and erased the created by the follower, and posted it as their own. And then that one got shared like 33 times. So I blew up their page. I messaged them. And then finally, we just went to Facebook last night and said, hey, this is our original post that we're earning on. And this is the post that they stole from us. And Facebook took it down in 5 minutes. However, it had already been shared across the metaverse. So it's still out there. But so yeah, if you follow MLB Legends Vault, please unfollow, because it's not even just our page that they're ripping off. There's a lot of other content in there that is definitely not theirs. So yeah,
it's the page is just full of copy paste from other places. It's pretty bad. It's just trying to get followers and engagement.
Yeah. So yeah. Thieves in the temple. Yeah. So it was just, and like I was telling Harrison, like it's different if, like, I don't know. It's different if we're not like spending as much time on it as we do. But you guys know how much time and effort we put into this page, into this show. Like, yeah, I mean, facts. So like, this is another like part-time to full-time job for Harrison and I. Like, that's how much effort we put into it. So for someone to be lazy and to just steal somebody else's content just doesn't fly with me. And that's where I kind of lost it yesterday.
It's pretty weak. Nick was on a warpath. I
was not happy yesterday. So
he called me at like 9:30 needing the code to some email that he had sent. And I'm like, oh crap, here we go.
Yeah. Yeah. So just throwing it out there, putting them on blast, because we don't need that. And there's other genuine pages that everybody can follow. And the baseball community that we have with Romantic About Baseball, I know their stuff's all authentic. Baseball History Dork, Romantic About Baseball. I already said that. Sorry. Nostalgic Baseball History. Like, those are all like authentic pages that make their own stuff. We create our own content. So make sure, if you don't already, follow those pages, because we want authentic listeners and followers, and those guys deserve it too, because they put in just as much effort as we do. So,
yep.
Rant over.
Yeah, good comment here from or question from Curtis. Did we hear what Sonny Gray said? Yes, we did. And as Red Sox fans, I liked it. And for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, Sonny Gray was asked about his time in New York, which did not go well. And what he basically said was he did not want to go there to begin with. It was not his, kind of his choice. And he's really happy to be in Boston, where it's easy to hate the Yankees, because that's how he feels about the Yankees. He never wanted to be in New York to begin with. You can tell by his performance it was bad. And that did not work out well for him.
I completely forgot he was a Yankee.
It was bad. I mean, it was really bad. Yeah. And Yankees fans have kind of held that over him. So he was in New York in 17 and 18. I shouldn't say it was really bad. I mean, he was 4-7 with a 372 in 2017. Got traded there from Oakland. So he's only there for the second half of the year. And then in 2018, he was 11-9 with a 4.90, made 23 starts, had some other appearances. He was okay. He wasn't bad. He wasn't great. He wanted to go elsewhere. Oakland traded him there. He thought he was going to stay in Oakland. He had to actually, I think he said that he believed he had an extension worked out with Oakland. Then all of a sudden he got traded and never wanted to go to New York to begin with.
Yeah.
But hates the Yankees and is happy to be somewhere like Boston where it's easy to hate them. So I was like, I love it. Let's do it.
Yep. Yeah, and adding Oviedo to that rotation, looks like Giolito's not going to be back. The Red Sox are going to move on from that, which I'm okay with, because with him not being available in the postseason when we needed him, put a sour taste in my mouth, and it sounds like he still has kind of elbow injuries. So yeah. I don't really want to deal with that. And I don't think the Red Sox are done here. I really don't.
Well, let's not forget that Oviedo missed all of 2024 and only made 9 starts in 2025 because of arm injuries. So you're trading one arm injury for another. Hopefully this guy is through the arm injuries, but he's good last year too, 2-1 with 357. But Oviedo's another guy that's got, recent arm injuries.
Yeah.
But he's cheap. He's not a free agent until 2028. He's still arbitration eligible. So
yeah,
that's not so bad.
No. So yeah, I'm excited. I haven't seen the Red Sox this active and this early in the offseason in quite some time. So maybe Breslow is gearing up for some big moves here.
Let's hope.
So is our camera slightly fisheye, or is that one frame in the background slightly crooked? It might. I don't know. It's probably a crooked frame. I don't use a level around here. I just eyeball it. Call it a day.
Oh, God.
But yeah. So, yeah. Anyways, do you have anything else for this evening, Harrison?
No, I think that's it for now.
All right. Well, again, thanks to Steve Trachsel for coming on and talking baseball with us. That was an incredible chat. And I mean, absolutely awesome to hear the stories, hear the behind the scenes stuff of his career that all of us grew up watching. I mean, absolutely incredible to get a chance to sit down and talk with him. And I hope everybody enjoyed it. So, yeah, we'll be talking about this one for a while. That was great. So, appreciate everything. He said he would be willing to come back on for just a question and answer for you guys. So keep an eye out for that. I'll keep talking to him. And we can definitely see if we can work something out to have him back on and have you guys more involved. I know we shared a couple of comments that you guys left. I wish we could have shared them all. But I wanted to be respectful of his time at the same time. But, we wanted to pretty much ask the questions that we wanted to ask. But he said he'd be willing to come on for a question and answer. And I think that would be absolutely incredible for you guys. So we'll keep you posted on that. And yeah, if you haven't already, check out our Etsy store, our Rounding Third Baseball. We have tons of merch on there, so check that out. And really appreciate all the support, guys. I mean, we say it every show. We love that you guys come back twice a week for 2.5 hours and talk baseball with us. And that support means everything to us. It is the backbone of what we do. So, I mean, all these comments mean a lot to us because of the amount of effort that we put in. So it means a lot. It's an epic show. Thanks for Trachsel. Yeah. I mean, it was absolutely incredible. So, yeah, I got no other words other than that.
Amazing night. Amazing night. And so happy you could all be part of it with us.
Yeah, absolutely. So we will be back on Sunday night. What we talk about, I don't know. Maybe a big Ketel Marte trade. Maybe a Pete Alonso to Boston. Maybe Colorado Rockies fall off the map. Maybe 2 expansion teams. Who knows what's going to happen in the weekend? We'll see.
What I will say is next week should get interesting because the winter meetings always bring a lot of activity.
Yeah, next Thursday's show is probably going to be wild. So you might want to tune in for that one.
Keep your notifications on because there's going to be a lot of news blowing up next week.
Absolutely. So, Curtis, hope you're feeling better, buddy. Get some rest. Did that. This is his flu game.
Oh yeah, we've all had a flu game. We appreciate you hanging with us.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right. Hope everyone has a safe weekend. We will see you on Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, we'll see you on the page answering some trivia.